Hey everybody, it's Squid, aka Heather, and welcome to my new channel. This is Evidence to Motion, where we help you move better, one movement at a time. No intro today, no big fancy stuff. We're just gonna kind of talk, learn what this channel is all about, who I am as a person, and why I started this channel separate from my other channel. And if you've watched Squid Pro Quo for any number of years or months, you know that I am an occupational therapy assistant. I have thoughts, I have opinions, I have all this stuff, but it's not really appropriate for the legal and drama commentary that I do over on the other one. So we're just going to talk, have a little short discussion, about 30 minutes, and let's get into it. Welcome to my new channel. All right, so this isn't like a new setup. I changed my camera location. I'm getting used to doing different things because this is my passion project. Over there, we talk, we joke, we have a good time, and I want to do that same thing over here. But on this channel, it's just different. This is the channel where we ask questions. We look at how life and how our government and our healthcare system impacts our everyday life. We're going to do it through research. We don't just talk here, we bring receipts. So, good morning, Squid and everyone. I'm so silly. I was waiting for this yesterday, even made a comment yesterday. That's all right. I am so glad that some of you decided to join me over here. I have never been so excited for something and worked and put so much effort into something that I hadn't even started yet. I've been working my ass off on topics, scheduling, trying to coordinate the two channels together, but keep them different. This is that channel is fun. This is like my heart and soul. This is what I went to college for. This is my passion, helping people. So for someone who claims not to be a people person, I like helping people. But instead of people reaching out to me on that channel, or not to say interrupting live streams, but y'all know I get derailed. This channel is for all that information put into one place. So things get a little muddled over there. Here, straightforward. It's all about you and how things impact your health and aging in place, because I am no spring chicken anymore. I am not old by any means, as I have my mother sitting in the room looking at me like, don't you say you're old. However, I am not old by any means. However, I turned 40 and things just aren't as simple to do. Things hurt more than they used to. I did that CrossFit competition yesterday, and my body is paying for it this morning. So we're just going to this is all about you. This is a community just like over there. It's just different. Bearded Man Steve, good morning. Hello. Sleepy Watcher, Lurker here. Hey lady, how are you? And like I said, this is all about a Sunday Q&A. So this is where y'all ask questions and I'm here to just answer it the best I can. And also the questions that you do ask generally will be related to a video that I post that week. So for this channel, the goal is a live stream every Sunday talking about the previous week's video. There will be a long form video, probably 10 to 15 minutes. We're not doing these 45-minute, hour-long videos. Y'all got lives, y'all got places to be, you got other things you want to watch. 10 to 15 minutes, roughly. And then that Sunday will be a Q&A related to anything in that video. And I will do a segment at the end of these live streams, and I'm going to keep them about an hour long. We are not doing the 2.5 hour, 3 hour live streams that we do on a weekday on the other channel where we got plenty to laugh at, plenty to joke about. We're going to keep this channel calm, precise, and all about y'all. Andrea, good morning. Faith says they're all good. Good morning, Squid and Chat. And over here, um, because I'm hoping to get viewers from a different subset of YouTube. I know a lot of people that watch me have chronic pain, have chronic illness. Um, we we kind of bonded over that. However, this channel is all about that. So there will be people um, that probably don't watch my other channel that may be inclined to watch this one. So over here, y'all, my name's Heather. I go by Squid, but everybody in real life calls me Heather. Y'all can call me Heather over here too. Since most of you know my first name anyway, we're just gonna go with it. And Sandy, good morning. Inspire, good morning. Hello, lovely Squid. And Jeff, it is good to see you. How are you feeling? You mentioned chair yoga before. Maybe we can do that in the future. Yes, that is. I'm keeping my iPad is not in the room with me right now, but I'm keeping a running list of things that people mention to me that they're interested in. Because what I'm going to do is not only talk to you guys about my experiences with things, but how the research, but we're going to present the research in a way that's not clinical. I am not preaching to you. This is not my opportunity to treat this like a classroom. This is a group of friends. Uh, this is a group of friends who are all in life together. We all suffer through the same things. We don't all have to agree on topics, but we're going to go through the research in a way that's presentable. And I'm not just going to use my experience of what I have from the clinic. I will never work, and I never want to work in a traditional healthcare setting again. Working through 2020, and before the YouTube algorithm kills me because I'm mentioning that thing that happened in 2020. However, I saw things that I don't ever want to go back to. So if we can use this channel as a aging in place, fall prevention, balance exercises, I am all here for it. But once again, there will be poll questions every week about what you guys want to see. I don't have them ready right now, but I do have PDFs that you guys will be able to download on the things that we talk about, so that if you don't have time to watch the 10-15 minute video or an hour-long Q&A, you can download 5 exercises to help prevent falls. What I think are the best exercises that anybody can do. And then we'll get more detailed in the video, but there will be handouts and things that y'all can download so that if you need a quick reference guide, I'm there for you. Kind of disappointed my real name isn't Squid. I mean, and I did change the camera location because I'm not looking at the screen like I am when I'm reading documents where I'm looking at the screen, So I did change the camera location for these videos. So if I look a little lost, it's because my camera is usually here and I moved my camera to right where you guys are. So I'm a little discombobulated because this is the first live stream. And this is also why I wanted to do this live stream, just introduce you to who I am as a person. When we don't really have anything, there's no drama, no BS. Kind of just see what y'all are all about and have y'all get to know me. I had back surgery to fix things. It fixed my hip pain, but my back is still screwed. I'll be in a wheelchair within 5 years. I'm only 54. I can't work. Thank God my husband works and makes good money. Yeah, and that's the thing about surgery that I have noticed working in a acute care hospital and a rehab center for 6 years. Before I moved to Georgia, my hospital had everything except for neonatal stuff. There was no under 18 kind of all that stuff. However, I did see a lot from cancer to orthopedics to neurology. we had two neuro ICUs that I would occasionally float to. Um, and the thing about that I have noticed with surgery, and this is just my personal observational theory, with surgery, you have to weigh the benefits with the cost. Just like a medication, how you take a medication, it fixes one thing, but then you get side effects. A surgery, and this is just an analogy, putting the two together, they're not exactly the same thing. But when you go in for surgery, there will be side effects, and it might fix one thing, but remember, you're causing trauma to the body every time you cut into it. And it might cause a cascade of effects that you didn't see coming. So I am not, I am an occupational therapy assistant and a corrective exercise specialist, but I am not your OTA. So everything that I say on this channel will be educational in mind, but always consult with your healthcare providers to get what is right for you, because I don't have access to y'all's um, I don't have access to y'all's medical history backgrounds. I am just providing general wellness advice, things that I have seen, and maybe giving someone an idea when their doctor says you need this. And well, I heard Heather say that she had an experience with a patient with this. Maybe I should just ask. Not saying that everything I say is going to work well for you. However, it might give people ideas to write down. And during these Q&As, I always say, you know how I am with my memory and with things, I write stuff down. If you see something that might relate to you and what you're going through, write it down. That way, the next time you have a doctor's appointment, you know that, hey, I heard about this research or this treatment or this activity that might be appropriate for me. And then you can ask the right people for you. So just to keep that in mind, I'm an OTA, but I'm not your OTA. So I am not providing you any treatments. We are just doing generalized wellness education. And I have to say, I have massive fall risk, probably because of large amounts of gabapentin I take for peripheral neuropathy. Yeah, and so our first video that I am going to be doing on this channel is, does sitting cause pain? And this is kind of a crossover from what I did on Squid Pro Quo's channel, where I talk about that like I'm not that same person. I am that same person. However, this is kind of the crossover to that, because we did a ergonomics video on that channel. And if you haven't seen it, I urge you to kind of check it out and see. I was starting to do things on that channel regarding health and my medical background and all of that. And then I did a little algorithm research. And the algorithm does not like when you talk about this and this and this and this. It doesn't mind it, but it gets confused. As we all know, the algorithm is just AI, it's just a computer, it's not a person. So it doesn't know who to push your content out to. So it's like, I can't push your content out to anybody because it's so random. So I am kind of putting my niche onto a separate channel. And it was I heard someone say it one day in another video that I was watching, and I was like, you know what? This is perfect. However, after that crossover video of does sitting cause pain, we have about a month of fall prevention. This is where I'm focusing on writing up those PDFs for you guys to be able to download. And I'm setting up a place where y'all can download those PDFs. And that's a work in progress. But that'll be things like, we'll do things like the education on falls and why falls are such a problem, with using the research in a way that's easy to understand. And I am not a professor. I am not preaching to you guys. We're having a conversation. But then there will be balance exercises for fall prevention. There will be devices or things that I've found that really, really help fall prevention for people who want to stay in their homes. Like one of the biggest things for fall prevention is people tripping over rugs. You think about it as, oh, I have hardwood floors, I'm going to put down a rug. And then when you're tired and you already have balance issues or vertigo or anything that causes some unsteadiness, and then you trip over a rug. It's especially important for those using canes and walkers. Walkers getting tripped on the side of a rug. There are things that can hold the rug down. Um, there are ways to become a little safer while still being able to be you and not feeling like you're having to change your whole environment, still remaining your personality. Because I know people, like especially older people who have lived in the same location for 30 years. My grandparents were the same way, didn't really want to change anything about their house. So we're just going to do small hacks, um, trying to remain with. I joke on the other channel all the time of balling on a budget. I am not going to recommend anything to you that is like hundreds of dollars. There will be things if people ask me about technology and I can give you guidance on those. But we're talking about the people who are generally on a fixed income, want to stay in their house. Life is hard. Moving into an assisted living is expensive, all that. Nobody really wants to do that. So we're going to age in place and stay safe. In my house, it's dogs, bones, and toys. Yes, and there's other things about feeding animals, people reaching down to the floor. So there are things that you can get even at like your local Walmart or PetSmart that can make things like feeding your animals um, easier. So we'll get into that over time. Like I said, 10 to 15 minutes. I have a lot of information. I have a lot of ideas, and it's trying to keep them straight. Um, you know, it's a I don't have a choice. Screws, bolts, cage, or I never walk again. And that's the thing. And also, there are things. If people, I know I do have some people that watch my channels who are wheelchair bound, and only can get up for minutes or at a time. I do have some tips and tricks on how to easily maneuver and get around. Because most houses aren't set up for wheelchairs. They're just not. Everything is high. Like I'm 5'2", 5'3", depending on the day and my posture. But my house was not made for someone short. Things are out of my reach. I have to use a step stool a lot. So I think about, and this is how my OT brain works, is just running through my head of all the things that I would change if I hurt myself and needed to be in a wheelchair for a little bit. Having had TRE decompression surgery and having to get a walker and a shower chair and figure out how I'm going to get in and out of the shower when I can barely stand up. Um, my career has prepared me to take care of myself, but if I can take care of myself, I can give that same advice to y'all. So it's my surgeon won't do surgery on my back or neck. Said I would still be in pain, so why bother? Exercise helps. So I'm glad you started this channel, and I'm so glad. Um, some of you guys know my medical history, but I had pain and weakness and headaches and random, like I would be writing and I would be like, throw my pen. People would look at me funny. My feet would go numb. People would tell me that my shoes didn't fit. I am so tired of being medically gaslit, that I can. This comment right here. He said he would still be in pain, so why bother? I can I can understand when hearing that how it would be a little depressing, but from someone who's dealt with medical providers being butt heads for years and not believing my symptoms, I can appreciate a surgeon who is like, I'm not going to put you through pain and suffering for you to still be in pain. I can appreciate the openness and honesty, and that's what I'm hoping to provide from y'all. Um, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people don't have a choice. I know a lot of people who have the surgery voluntarily to relieve their pain, but it didn't help. Yeah. And I was so embarrassed that I take my mother-in-law shopping and I'm the one with the walker. The looks are so degrading. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't. And I always talk about it because, the other channel, we got some haters. Um, I always talk about it as like, don't let people who at the end of the day don't matter to you, don't let their opinion of you sway you. I have had patients who, I have had patients who, you ever seen that show Pimp My Ride on MTV back in the early 2000s that take colored duct tape and just they got baskets, they got all the kind of stuff, and they are like they are not their personality is not limited by their walker. Their personality is enhanced by their walker. So it's kind of one of those things where you don't I can understand not wanting to use it. I do. I completely do. However, have fun with it. Like I have fun with it. Um and never be embarrassed about being safe. Like it's like a kid wearing once again, I'm going to take it down to a level where I think everybody can agree. Um, like people only know it's like a kid wearing a helmet. They don't want to, but it's what's best. Also, take this one with a grain of salt, but I heard this in a video the other day when I was on Facebook and I was just scrolling. It said people only know the decisions you've made, not the choices you had. So people don't know what you've been through to get to that point in your life. And yes, you have made the decision to use a walker when someone older than you has not. Well, you had to make decisions that you might not have wanted to, or no one else has had to. So take the looks that other people give you and just add it to your story and what makes you you. Yes, the best information is at a fifth grade level. Well, it's kind of everybody can agree. I don't think there's one person who will say that a child wearing a helmet um, when they're riding a bike is a bad thing. We can all agree that safety first. Yes, they may not look great, but that's why they make fun, different colored helmets for kids to have fun with it. They want to enjoy being safe. I say grab some colored duct tape and pimp that thing out. Um, yes, I'm sorry, I wouldn't be worried about what other people are thinking. They always make judgments without knowing the story behind the person. And that's why when I heard that quote, people only know the decisions you've made, not the choices you've had. Like the girl who said it was like, PSA, let's stop. And I was like, that's a really good point. There's very few times when people actually know the choices that you had. They only see the end result and the decision that was made. So other people are like, meh, it doesn't really matter. However, this getting back to this channel, I've mostly given up on the medical field. Many times I was told I was imagining symptoms, but now I know why I have each symptom. I was told for years my symptoms weren't real. When I would jump rope, my feet would go numb. Or when I'd be in the gym or I'd run, I wouldn't run because my feet would go numb. Well, doctors, trainers, everything, the first thing they tell you is, oh, your shoes don't fit. You can only change shoes so many damn times before it's not your shoes. And then it's like, oh, I have a headache. Oh, I have a headache. Well, here's this medication. My arm goes numb when I grocery shop. When I push a cart, my arm goes numb. Like I know I'm not having a stroke because the other arm went numb too. Like why do I when I turn a certain way, my hip feels funny? Like I have this pressure in the back of my head that literally feels like someone is trying to beat me up. Like someone is trying to get their way out of my skull with an ice pick. It's this shooting pain that I can't like it makes you not want to keep your eyes open. Oh, it's just migraines. Take this. Like and then finally when they got an MRI and they saw everything, they still didn't want to admit that something was wrong. They were like, "Oh, we'll talk about it at your next appointment." It's like, "No, bitches, we'll talk about it now." It's like so as there are people who get into the medical field whose hands are tied. But there are people who are in the medical field that are so book smart that they lose that human connection. And I never claim to be like super, super smart and super book smart, but I do know a thing or two. And I never want to lose that human connection because without that human connection, what do we have? Nothing. I heard another quote in a video I was watching this morning. It's when you're gone, people aren't going to remember what you had. People aren't going to remember the fact that your channel was monetized. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And over there, we laugh, we joke, we have fun. But this is where we can all commiserate together and just remember no matter what you have you have going on in life, you're not alone. There's billions of people in this world, and I'm pretty sure that someone else has had a similar experience, to say the least. And I'm hoping that we can make this community a group where we can all trust each other. Y'all can trust me to give you my best opinion. Y'all can trust each other that when you come in here and say that you've given up on the medical field, someone else can be like, hey, I have too. Like, you're not alone. We can also talk about one of the other things that I want to address on this channel is how to pick a provider. Because a lot of the times we think we're so enclosed into what we've got. If you don't like your doctor, you can fire your doctor. Never be afraid to tell a healthcare professional that no offense to you, but the relationship we have is not working. I don't feel comfortable talking to you. I don't feel like you've heard me. And we never be afraid to ask for a second opinion. People will tell you that, oh, if you're doctor shopping, it's like, if I say doctor shopping is like 5 or more doctors in a specific amount of time. But disagreeing with your doctor and the way you're treated, um, never be afraid to like if you went to the grocery store and you had a bad experience at that grocery store and the people were rude and you asked a question and they were so unhelpful, you wouldn't go back. As a country, as a society in general, worldwide, I think we get stuck. Our healthcare system is not perfect by any means. However, you do have the right to, when you get a doctor and you're like, this relationship is not working, I don't feel comfortable talking to you, I don't feel like you have my best interest in mind, you can ask for another provider in the practice, or you can go on the internet and search for a new doctor. It is always, you know, I'm also in Australia, so medical is different. Yes, and I do understand that I have worldwide viewers, which is awesome. But we do have different systems, and it's one of those things that I've heard. I'm in a couple Kiari groups, and I've heard from people who have Kiaris overseas and even in Canada that they got their diagnosis right away, but they couldn't get seen by a specialist right away. Whereas here, the dichotomy is that people have gotten their diagnosis. It takes years to get their diagnosis. Doctors don't want to take the time or effort or the money to get an MRI. But when they do finally get their diagnosis, scheduling a provider an appointment with a specialist is weeks, not months, not years. So no healthcare system around the world, I think, is perfect. We kind of got to work with what we got. But I also want to kind of go into a little bit of like how our government and affects our healthcare. Because our government right now, people are complaining that our healthcare is too expensive. Well, they passed a law back in like 2008 that caused a problem, and we're now seeing the fixes or the end results from it. So, and it's like, well, that was y'all caused this problem. The government caused the problem, and now we think the government is going to fix the problem. That's not how shit works. The government, in my opinion, never fixes anything. They just cause bigger problems. So my daughter and I had tech neck long before tech. We have book neck, and we have to exercise to help it. Yes. And that is the sitting cause pain. We're going to go into some posture exercises um, with fixing that tech neck, because we talked about it in the ergonomics video where you get this. And I did that CrossFit competition yesterday. And even then, when I would tell people, because, like, we all work together. Yes, we're competing against each other, but like when we're warming up and we say, hey, try this. Um, it's a novice and intermediate competition. We're not making the CrossFit games. We're not nationally ranked athletes. We're just the everyday weekend warriors who wanted to compete to see where we're at. Um, but I was talking to one person who I've known for about ever since I moved to Georgia. When she'd squat, she'd look down. Well, when you look down, think about when you're on your phone. Sorry, my phone's right here and it's blowing up this morning. Um, when you look down, your eyes go down, so does your head. When your head goes down, your shoulders round. When your shoulders round, your core gets weak, and then you just start doing this. So it's that cascading effect. Kind of like when they tell you about running shoes. Running shoes are so important because it puts your feet in alignment, which keeps your knees in the right alignment, which keeps your hips in the right alignment, which generally keeps your spine in the right alignment, and it works up. Well, tech neck is like the top down, whereas like running shoes and proper footwear are the feet up. Everything in the body is connected. Um, that that childhood song, my foot bone's connected to my ankle bone's connected to my shin bone, like everything. We have this fascia network that connects everything. That's why sometimes when you have pain in your elbow, it's not your elbow that's causing the problem. It might be your hand, it might be your shoulder, and the position of your shoulder or your hand or the weakness is causing the pain somewhere else. So everything is connected to everything. So sometimes fixing like a core problem, like looking up when you speak. And that's why I changed the position of my camera, because I was doing this, which not only um, is a funky look, but I'm not looking at people. I'm looking up at people. And it's like, I don't want to look up at people. I don't want to look down at people. We need a good position. So we're playing around with some settings. So if things look different in a video compared to a live stream, compared to a live stream on this channel, compared to that channel, it's we're having some experience. So I will be doing, like I said before, I have kind of an outline of what I want to talk about, and then I just go on my tangents because that's what we do. However, I will be doing a live community poll every week about things that you want to see. I have one up right now about handouts or PDFs that you guys might want. I gave like a choice of 3, but I also put in a pinned comment to put in the chat or in the comment section what you guys would like to see. Because I know what I want to talk about, but at the end of the day, we're a community. And if y'all have questions and answers, and even during this Q&A, I might be able to answer some questions, but you guys might have questions that I can't answer. Like I know where to find the answer, but I can't answer it right now. And we can address that. I might use it as an opportunity to make a short, not addressing you specifically, because I know that a lot of people just don't want to be called out like that, and I get it. But I might make a short on my channel about that specific question. It's kind of going back and forth, and that's kind of what this channel is all about, is just community building, a network of people who have chronic pain, and not so much commiserating together, but empowering each other. Age gracefully, age safely, because at the end of the day, we're all getting older. I mean, I'm 40. I look at myself in the mirror and I don't see 40. Neither do my parents. But at the end of the day, the clock doesn't lie. So I think we're going to call it a day here. I wanted to keep this one short, sweet, straight to the point. However, thank you guys for joining me on this adventure. This is my passion project. So you'll see me get a little emotional about certain things because this is what I went to college for. This is my chosen career path. Uh, I saw some things in the medical industrial complex that I do not want to go back to. And that's one of the reasons that I'm starting this channel. And I also have that corrective exercise. Um, I do have long term goals that I'd want to get to about teaching people about exercise and things like that. But we're starting small. We're starting with the biggest topic that I feel is the most important, and that is fall prevention, because I've described it as circling the drain. When someone falls, they hurt themselves, they go in the hospital, they break something, break a rib, break a hip, whatever. Um, they go into rehab, they go to rehab, they go home. Now they have a fear of falling, and paralyzed by fear is a real thing. Now you don't move as much because you're scared of falling. And when you don't move as much, you get weaker and you make yourself more susceptible to falls. You don't move as much, you end up falling again. You go back into the hospital. You you go you go back into the hospital and you start the cycle all over again. And I call it circling the drain until you get that celestial discharge, as my grandmother called it. Um, I'm sorry. Thank you, Squid. I'm sorry. Squid, you will always be Squid to me. Hey, and that's fine. I go by anything but late for dinner. Uh, that's my mom now. She's terrified of falling. Yes, and one of the things that I am going to address is that fear of falling. Um, Sometimes you can do exercises to prevent falling without standing up. Or I'm going to, and this is where you guys are going to have to come on this adventure with me because I'm going to be filming in different locations of my house. Um, and I'm not entirely comfortable with my whole body being on camera, but we're going to make this work because there are things you can do that this this channel is personal to me because my parents are getting to be that age. No offense to my mom and dad, mom and papa Squid when you watch this, but if I'm 40, you're older than me. My dad just retired. So I am in that like let's do this for everybody, but this is a shout out to my parents too. So I will have exercises not only that you can do to strengthen your legs while sitting, and that chair yoga is great. I did recently do a continuing education class on seated yoga. So we might not do a full follow along video, but five or six poses that you can do sitting down to help strengthen your core. And every little bit helps. So I appreciate you guys joining me on this passion project of mine. If you found this video helpful or you think this would be good for anybody, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate to the people who have followed me over from my other channel. However, this channel is not just limited for the people who follow me over there. This channel is for everybody who thinks that this falling prevention, aging gracefully, aging in place, and safely. That safety is that huge thing to me because when I hear people have fallen, I'm like, oh, we could have prevented that, or what could I have done to prevent that? Well, now I'm getting the opportunity, and I love it. All right, so y'all have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is Evidence Through Motion, where we help you move better and live safer, one movement at a time. Bye, guys.